Dream is a cool YouTuber. He consistently puts out a lot of original and engaging content. But this video he made, it's a harsh assessment, but this was Dream straight up stealing Uber's original 5-block jump video, dramatizing it and stretching it to that 10-minute ad revenue mark with rampant misinformation riddled throughout. He presents entertainment as fact when there is barely any accurate reporting of facts in the video at all. I think it's partially intentional on his part. Dream excels at storytelling, and he knows it, so by leaning into this skill of his, he's tried to bend facts and reality to his narrative, the story he's trying to spin. But what ends up happening when you watch his video from a purely factual point of view is that you find yourself saying over and over again, well, that's just not right. It really doesn't work that way. So I'm going to point out CinemaSin style all the mistakes and factual errors Dream makes. Not all of them are going to be very big or important mistakes, but just for the sake of consistency, I'll be pointing out every single mistake I can identify. Big disclaimer, this video is not meant to expose or cancel Dream in any way. I'm not trying to start drama, I just want to clear up some of the misinformation caused by Dream's video on behalf of the parkour community. If you send Dream any hate or insult or harass him, I will make a video trying to get you cancelled. No, I won't, but just don't do it. Thanks. Thanks to the parkour community for helping me with this video. Special thanks to Uber, Squidyerser, Entity Wolf, Zapaisi, Rad, Zrkiv, Algorithm, and Cinemal. And there's more. Sorry if I didn't mention you. The format of Dream's video is this kind of suspenseful mystery-solving skit where he introduces the basics of Minecraft parkour and jumping and how it's literally universally agreed that the longest you can jump in Minecraft is 4 blocks. He quickly flashes some forum posts on screen that appear to demonstrate this common belief that 4 blocks is the maximum jump distance. But he is not reading, because all the posts he shows actually say otherwise, and Dream shows the images too briefly for the average viewer's closer inspection. Dream highlights the words 4-block gap, but directly before that, it's mentioned that this is the gap between 2 fences. A 4-block gap between 2 fences is actually much more than a 4-block distance. That sounds confusing, so it's probably better if you just look at the difference between these 2 jumps. Also, the post itself claims that the longest possible jump is at least 4.0875 blocks. It's funny because the red highlighting box conveniently blocks out the real, contradictory findings of the maximum jump distance in his image. Not only does this disprove Dream's claim about the common belief being 4 blocks, it shows his disingenuousness in cherry-picking the words 4-block gap to prove a point that has no basis. Same case with the next image he shows. I don't know if Dream just, again, only conveniently managed to read the scant sections that appeared to agree with him, or deliberately chose to ignore these statements that conflicted with the claim he was trying to make. Either way, the post states very clearly that you can jump more than 4 blocks, as you can jump a 4-block distance while also going up by 0.0625 blocks. Also, we already know that more than that is possible both in horizontal distance as well as in height. In the last screenshot he shows, Dream could have read literally the previous 5 words before the bit he highlighted to realize that this post disagrees with him. This post is talking about a 4+1 being possible. That is much different than a 4-block. Just look here. They even say you can jump 5 blocks, which totally ruins Dream's narrative for this video's intro. I find it inconceivable that Dream could have managed to miss the conflicting parts of these posts, which leads me to believe that he had little care for the factual accuracy of his video. It's clear that he was putting a lot of priority instead on the entertainment value. The video drags on for a little bit after this. What if I told you you can jump 5 blocks, not 4? Wow, that's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe me, would you? You thought it was 4, right? But it's not, it's 5. It's actually 5, not 4. Think about that. Consider it. 5, not 4. Then he promotes Manicube, probably the biggest mainstream parkour server out there. It's not relevant to the bigger picture here, but I find it funny that Dream says he plays on the server literally every day, when he only has 6 hours played. He also mentions Manicube as one of the only parkour-centered servers out there that's left. This is about half true. Manicube is a much more casual and mainstream parkour experience when you think about servers that are even more dedicated to serious parkour, like Jumpcraft, Chelsea, Linkcraft, Project Omega. There's quite a number of parkour servers like this that encourage the serious development of parkour skill. This does not describe Manicube. Granted, these servers are hard to find even if you are looking for them. Dream says that few people on this server know that a 5-block jump is possible, but does not show any evidence for this claim. I wouldn't doubt that it's true, but how hard is it to just ask in chat, is a 5-block jump possible, and see the responses you get? You know, maybe he did do this, and again, just like with the contradictory forum post he showed, he got the responses that ran counter to the narrative he was trying to promote in this video. Instead, Dream brings in someone who doesn't play Manicube, or much parkour from what I can see from his channel, to attest to his claim, Bad Boy Halo. For over an astonishing minute and a half, Dream and Bad Boy Halo have this back and forth conversation where the former insists that a 5-block jump is possible, and the latter feigns surprise and disbelief as everything he ever believed to be true is revealed to have been a sham. It drags on for just long enough to reach the 10-minute mark. In that little spiel, Dream mentions that he's done the 5-block jump before. He never once shows footage of him completing the jump, by the way. He also teases the theory that a 6-block jump may be possible. No, it's extremely unlikely. I'll explain more later, since Dream dedicates a few minutes near the end of the video to that theory. And can I just talk about how weird it is that Dream discusses the limits of possibility only in terms of blocks like whole numbers? The maximum distance is 4 blocks, or 5 blocks, or 6 blocks. But the limit of possibility is unlikely to lie on these perfect values. It'd probably be some irrational value somewhere in between. Something like 5.043147 blocks is more likely to be the true maximum than 5 blocks period. As far as we know with our current knowledge, it lies somewhere between 5.042 to 5.045 blocks. We would likely never know the true maximum barring ranges like this, but we can approximate it through the usage of fractional blocks like trapdoors, iron bars, and ladders. Dream then goes on to declare there's actually 2 ways of doing the 5-block jump. For the whole video prior, he talked specifically about performing a vanilla 5-block jump with no shenanigans, no ice, no potion effects, etc. You sprint and jump across a 5-block gap. He then proceeds to say that the 5-block jump is possible like this, but with head hitter boost, which apparently unbeknownst to him falls under this category of shenanigans. It's like if I were to tell you I'm going to straight up give you $5, no catch. You don't have to say anything special about me, you don't have to be any nicer to me, you're not indebted to me in any way. Then I give you the $5 and ask you to wash my car. No shenanigans, by the way. Even in the description he writes, how far can you jump in Minecraft? No ice, no speed, no tricks, 4 blocks, right? As well as, a 5-block jump in Minecraft is possible. 4 blocks is not the longest you can jump. 6 blocks may even be possible, wrong by the way. No ice, no speed, no head hitters, just momentum. So why did he bring up this so-called second technique to the no shenanigans 5-block jump when it actually employs shenanigans? Probably to just increase the video length. Usually I'm very forgiving of creators who stall to extend the video to the 10-minute mark. I do it myself sometimes if my video runtime ends up at like 9 minutes 30 seconds, but I would argue that at least a third of this video, or even half of it, is unnecessary filler meant to push the video to 10 minutes. Maybe Dream would argue with me here, saying that what I call filler, he calls dramatic flair and the building of suspense. It could just be a matter of perspective. Finally, after over 5 minutes of suspense, Dream gets to the real 5-block jump, and all it is a fluffed up and incorrect explanation of Uber's original 5-block jump video. He introduces Uber's video by saying, there's actually a YouTube video that I saw that shows someone completing the 5-block jump. It was one of the videos I found while I was researching for this video, and that video was fairly popular, so I'm sure some people know about it, which I think is just super disingenuous. Note Dream's avoidant language when talking about this, a YouTube video that I saw. The person actually created a map. This seriously downplays Uber's contributions. I don't know, maybe Dream is trying to hide the fact that his own video doesn't exist without Uber's video. At the time, there was no widely known hard evidence for the possibility of the 5-block jump without both Uber's video and his downloadable map. Dream doesn't get 4.9 million views and counting without Uber. The credit given to Uber, the person who laid the entire foundation for Dream's video and more, is less than what he gave Bad Boy Halo for saying, wow, I can't believe a 5-block jump is possible, several times over and over. Buried at the bottom of the description, just above the last little bit of misinformation, is the credit that Uber gets. Also an info card, we can't forget that one. It gets worse when you consider that Dream did not contact Uber or ask permission to use his video at all. Uber's video is a major component to Dream's video, and that's putting things lightly. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Dream would have no real evidence for the fully vanilla, no shenanigans, no head hitter 5-block jump being possible without Uber. Dream's video exists because of Uber's video, and because of his discovery of the 5-block jump being possible. I think that deserves a lot more credit, and I think Uber deserved to be asked for permission by Dream first. You know, if that did end up happening, Dream could have shown Uber an early draft or script of the video, and Uber, being the experienced parkourist he is, could have offered his help in fixing up some of the mistakes I'm pointing out here today, and we could have avoided all this. Moving on, Dream describes the 5-block jump as being possible with 7 straight sprint jumps of momentum. Where does he get this arbitrary value of 7? No one knows. Is it true? No? Watch Squidyerser do a 5-block jump with only 5 jumps of elevation momentum and a 45 strafe. I'll tell you what elevation momentum is later. Uber also uses it. For info on 45 strafes, see the description and pinned comments. Anyways, Squid made this video June 2019. Dream released his video October 2019. So the minimum momentum for the 5-block was already known. Dream just didn't do his research thoroughly or deeply enough. Dream says he's been able to recreate the jump from 1.8 all the way up to 1.14, but again, he never shows himself performing the jump. What if he did it off camera and just didn't show us? If he actually did complete it, he'd have been able to put that in as background footage, which would have been much more captivating and relevant than him flying around and just looking at the jump. So it is my educated guess that with Uber's downloadable map, Dream could not perform the 5-block jump because he did not know about the special technique of elevation momentum that is required to complete the jump, despite him saying that all you need is enough momentum, unspecified, and perfect timing. Quote, I noticed that every time I jumped in a straight line, I could jump just a little bit further, end quote. Once again, Dream shows no evidence for this claim, but there is no way to determine the exact distance you're making in each jump by just watching yourself run and jump as in the footage he shows. Regardless, we know that you stop jumping a little bit further after a certain point and your momentum caps out, which I will also get to later. Let me attach the end of that quote though. Quote, that's what makes the 5-block jump even possible at all, end quote. No. Dream missed one very important detail that is relevant to both the 5-block jump and the supposed 6-block jump that he talks about. As I've already said, he doesn't seem to know the difference between flat momentum and elevation momentum. A 5-block jump, fully vanilla, no shenanigans, which also means no head hitter, is not possible without elevation momentum. What is elevation momentum? You can see it applied in Uber's video and map. You gain more momentum when jumping up onto blocks, tapping the spacebar the very moment you land, as compared to flat momentum only, because you spend more time in the air and less time jumping. Jumping gives you instant acceleration, which is why head hitters, where you're jumping very frequently, give you such a big boost of speed. The more you jump, the more speed boost. Conversely, spending time in the air decreases your speed. Elevation momentum gets you to jump more often and gets you more of that speed boost while also losing less speed due to spending less time in the air. Why don't I think Dream knows about this? First, he never mentions it. If he knew that it was necessary to the completion of the jump, he would know that he has to mention it. Second, while talking about the 6-block jump, he shows footage of him getting flat momentum. He's just sprint jumping on a flat surface. If the 6-block jump were to be possible, which is very unlikely and very unlikely under Dream's theoretical explanation, it would have to make use of elevation momentum instead of flat momentum, barring any potential weird discovery of a technique that boosts jump distance in some weird way with flat momentum. The last couple minutes of the video are dedicated to Dream's 6-block theory based on the notion that you can gain infinite momentum. He argues that because you get more and more momentum just by virtue of sprinting and jumping for longer and longer, you can potentially make a 6-block jump or even longer by using this infinitely increasing momentum. But it doesn't work this way. You get diminishing returns with how much momentum you build up, and this is mathematically known as convergence in geometric series. If you've also learned about limits in calculus, this is how momentum works. It approaches a limit. In other words, you basically stop getting any more momentum, any more of the extra boost of speed after you've already built up a certain amount of momentum. That value, however, is currently in debate right now. Different researchers from the parkour community have told me that you stop getting meaningful momentum than you already had before after anywhere between 6 and 11 sprint jumps. It goes without saying, a 6-block jump in vanilla 1.8, no shenanigans Minecraft parkour is extremely unlikely to be possible. And the irony here is that in trying to debunk the non-existent myth of the 4-block being the longest possible jump in Minecraft, Dream has created an actual myth of infinitely increasing momentum. Sprint jumping for 10 jumps gives you effectively as much momentum as sprint jumping for 100 jumps, for a million jumps, for a billion jumps. End of story. I find it doubly ironic that Dream tried to make his video more entertaining and interesting by cutting corners, doing minimal research, and presenting false facts, when his video could have been factually accurate and, in my opinion, even more interesting if he made a more thorough attempt at research. For the unsolved part of the video, instead of wrongly speculating the longest jump via infinite momentum, he could have talked about how we might discover a new technique that boosts jump distance and makes even longer jumps possible. And instead of having misinformed filler, he could have made the 5-block jump about the slow progression, the baby steps taken towards its completion. How he started with the 4.5 using an iron bar, then having double trapdoors on either side of the jump, then only one trapdoor, till finally we figured out the full 5-block jump. The culmination of these little mechanics that were discovered over time as well, that of elevation momentum, perfect setup, and eventually 45 strafing that allowed for its possibility and more. And again, just for the record, what we know so far is that you can actually jump somewhere between 5.042 to 5.045 blocks with elevation momentum and 45 strafes. If you want to hear more about the technical stuff, the inner workings of movement in Minecraft that set the rules for jump distance, Cinemol just made a really great video on it, which also debunks the possibility of the 6-block jump. Also, I figured I should put my money where my mouth is. Dream didn't do the 5-block jump in his video, but for me to criticize him for that, I'd better do it in mine. That's what you're watching right now. So let's think about the big takeaways from Dream's video. What did he try to discover or explain, and how much of it was true? Most people thought a 4-block jump is the longest possible jump in Minecraft. False or unverifiable. A 5-block jump is possible given enough momentum and perfect timing. False under Dream's explanation, missing vital details. Infinite momentum gain, false. A 6-block jump may be possible, very likely to be false, unverifiable, posited on a future discovery. False reasoning, see the above point. Play on Manicube, okay, go for it. Hello folks, I'm here interviewing Uber. I feel like this is what Dream should have done in his video, so I'm doing that here today. Hello Uber, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Uber, of course, the man who discovered the 5-block jump, made the map and original video. So yeah, that's what we're here for today. I want to ask my first question, just so everyone can hear it coming from you directly. Did Dream ask you for permission to use your video?
No, I was never contacted once by Dream. Pretty unfortunate.
Alright, thank you. I just wanted to hear that from you first. So, on October 17th, 2019, or whenever you first saw Dream's video, how did you initially feel about his usage of your video?
So when I first saw it, is a lot different from how I feel now. I commented on his video and I was like, "Hey, thanks for featuring me, man. I appreciate it." And then my friend calls me and he's just like, "Yo, did you see Dream's video on your video?" And I was like, yeah." And he was like, "Dude, that's complete. Wait, am I allowed to swear?"
Go for it, go for it.
He was like, "That's complete bullshit." He literally just like explained every single thing that was wrong with the video, and I was just like, "Damn, how did I not realize this, dude?" And then he literally just made me so woke to what Dream did, and then I was just like, "Wow, Dream really screwed me over." He literally took all my money. I didn't make any money off of the video, and that's because I used a copyrighted song. But like, he took my content and just made money off of my content. It really, it's really not fair. But yeah.
And is that how you feel now about it, or how do you feel now about it? And do you feel any like weird kind of, I don't know, paradoxical indebtedness to Dream for giving you more traffic to your channel in a way?
Well, that is not how I feel about it now. I pretty much really dislike the way that he treated me and responded and just like talked about the whole situation to me. I think that he could have done it in a much better way that it seemed immoral. He was like stealing from me. And no, I don't feel indebted to Dream because although he might have helped the algorithm in my favor, I think that A, my video deserved it in the first place, and B, it certainly deserved it more than his video. So I think that I wouldn't say I'm grateful to him, but like I'm grateful for the viewers, I guess.
Pretend you're not talking to Happy Heart right now. Pretend you're talking to Dream. What do you want to say to him directly?
Well, the only time I did talk to Dream in a voice chat, and it was literally only about a mini game uh, that he was trying to get me in to kind of like cover up, I guess, the fact that he stole my video, and like he wanted to, say no hard feelings by putting me in one of his videos that he never ended up even using. But that's the impression that I got anyway. But yeah, we never talked about that. But if I could talk to him, I would just, I mean, I've texted him a lot about how I felt about it, and the most he could do was give me credit. He didn't give me any compensation, didn't write any big paragraph, or, you know, he didn't do anything like that. So I honestly would just say, like, hey, man, screw you.
Yeah, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. And just because you brought it up, I didn't intend to ask this, but how do you feel about the credit he gave you? Do you think he could have given you more? Are you satisfied?
Well, originally he linked my video in the description with it just said like something like 5 block jump, and he linked the video. And so I messaged him. I was like, "This is not adequate, like, you know, linking to my channel. You didn't have my profile picture. You didn't have my username anywhere. You called me some guy on the internet, made this video, and then pretended, and then continued to extend the video to 10 minutes, all while contributing nothing towards the actual 5 block jump, and especially not more than 5 blocks of jumping. But no, the credit was entirely not, it was not enough, and even I would have linked someone bigger than me. I feel like when you're a big channel, you need to link people that are smaller than you and help them out, but he didn't do that, and it's just not cool.
I'm glad you say that because I pretty much feel the same way. And now I'd like to ask, this isn't really relevant to Dream or anything, but it's sorry, my brother's talking. It's something I'm just curious about. How did you come to discover the 5 block jump? Did you like first work out the math to figure out it was possible? Because I wouldn't think you just like made the setup arbitrarily, not even knowing whether the 5 block was actually possible at all, and being like, ah, gee, I hope this works. So how did you come about that?
Well, it actually came about. I've always been interested in parkour, and I always thought the longest jump was well, at first it was a 4.75, which is like 5 block fence defense, and then it was a 4x3, which is like slightly bigger. And then I saw this video on YouTube, and it was by a Polish guy who speedruns. His name is Ricers125, and he made a top 10 hardest jumps video. This was before I made mine, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was like, I think I might have seen it after I made my first one, and it had a 4.875 block jump using like normal elevation momentum. And I was like, I never knew that was possible, and it interested me so much. And so I was just like, whoa, I need to recreate this. And so I started teleporting to specific coordinates in single player, and I figured out that a 4.875 was possible on flat ground by around 0.001. And then I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why is it so easy when you use elevation momentum? And so I started testing, and I used snow layers to do a 4+1. And then I was just like, holy crap, this is actually like a breakthrough. And and then I made the 5 block, and to this day I've never made past even 1 pixel of a 5 block. The most I've gotten is 5.045, I think. So yeah, and a lot of people were super impressed, and a lot of people thought it was fake too. I still get comments to this day of people saying that it's fake, but yeah, it was a pretty cool discovery, and I really think that it helped the parkour community, and especially people to realize like how cool parkour can be.
Wow, that is actually really interesting, and I'm pretty happy we're going to get this out there on video. I I'm glad you told that story. And my last question is, what would you like to tell Dreams fans or anyone who's watched his video? What would you say to them specifically if they become interested in parkour because of his video?
I would probably have to say that you shouldn't just believe people because you look up to them or they're your idol. They might not know what they're talking about when it comes to specific subjects. So you should probably look at people that look more experienced. Dream obviously didn't look experienced. He was saying hypotheses every single sentence, and he was just showing people my video and saying, "Oh, if 5 block jump is possible, look, I can even do it with head hitters." When they click on my channel, they see an entirely different image than what Dream portrays. And Dream has never posted a parkour video. And if they're interested in parkour, then they should. Let me think.
Are there any servers you could recommend or like resources?
Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to advertise my Discord, but it has a really good section on it.
No, go for it. I'll plug it in my description and pin comment if that's fine.
Epic. I'd say that if people are interested in parkour, then they need to learn the right resources. They need to start at the right place and not from a 3 million subscriber YouTube channel whose main focus is to distribute content, not parkour skill content. So, two resources that I would highly recommend are the server omegaparkour.net and my Discord server. And there's a channel called Useful Info, and pretty much if you want to get into parkour, you just read that, and it should explain a lot of what you need to know. And you go on the server and you start using that knowledge, start challenging yourself, and you start getting better and better, and you start realizing that parkour is fun and you can actually do a lot.
All right, that's all I have to ask. Unless there's anything more you'd like to say.
No, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming along. Is how I say it. Social interaction moment. Yeah, take care, buddy. Have a good one.
Yep.
Okay. All of that may have been a little upsetting or offensive if you're a Dream fan, or if you're Dream yourself and you're watching this. I apologize. So here's where I pulled the switcheroo, and instead of pointing out everything Dream got wrong, I'm going to show why some of what he got wrong may be excusable. First, I'd like to say that Dream was just trying his best to put good, entertaining content out there. He shot his shot. It didn't pan out this time. He made a lot of mistakes, but hopefully he learned from them. That's the nice thing about YouTube. Making one bad video isn't the end-all be-all. You get these opportunities to learn from your mistakes and grow. I've made bad videos, ones that I regret. I don't have to tell you about them, you probably already know which ones I'm talking about. And maybe we can say something about how the end justifies the means. I can't speak for the entire parkour community, or the PKC, a much easier abbreviation for me to say considering how much I'm going to say it from here on out, but I know some members of the PKC feel like parkour gets shafted as merely a gimmicky minigame when it should be treated and viewed as one of the bigger subgenres of Minecraft itself, like PvP, building, and redstone. Dream's video, despite its misinformation and lack of proper crediting, probably generated a lot of interest in parkour for a lot of the average uninformed Minecraft players. So this may be a step in the right direction. People can now begin to see parkour as a serious game mode with a lot of depth and complexity, just like building or PvP or redstone. And it might hurt the parkourers to hear it, but that is thanks to Dream. First, it's thanks to Uber, of course, for making it all possible with his original 5-block jump discovery, but Dream using his platform to serve the PKC is a big help. Lastly, Dream was kind of set up to fail in making this video, at least from a factual accuracy perspective. As a YouTuber, he's always on a time budget and may have been too rushed to polish and research everything thoroughly. I'm going to assume he probably knew he was going to get a few things wrong, some for the sake of entertainment and dramatic flair, but overall thought he'd done enough research. And he probably didn't think that anyone took parkour very seriously, so maybe he didn't think that people would be upset by his video even if he got a few vital things wrong. But even beyond that, there is so much to know about parkour and all its complexities. We're constantly learning even more stuff, and a lot of that knowledge is hidden away in obscure places within the already hidden and obscure PKC. Squid's video that I mentioned earlier only has around 700 views. It takes some really deep research to dig that video out of the mountains of content on YouTube. If you search up Minecraft 5-block jump, you won't find Squid's video instantly. I mean, I can't know what showed up when you searched for that in October 2019 when Dream was making his video, so maybe I'm wrong. The main thing is, I don't think it is reasonable to expect someone to have researched things perfectly when trying to talk about parkour. When I was at my peak both in parkour knowledge and skill, because I was in high school and I had loads of free time to play and learn about parkour, I made a parkour quiz video. Despite my level of knowledge, the video had a few factual errors. People still leave comments about it. Even other parkour experts in their prime today run into disagreements about how parkour works because new discoveries are being made all the time and keeping up to date is hard. So when so-called parkour experts, including myself, can still find themselves mistaken about parkour, I can't really expect a casual or semi-casual such as Dream to produce something of higher accuracy. However, Dream did make a lot of mistakes that don't require absolutely perfect, super up-to-date knowledge or research. It doesn't take a parkour expert, it doesn't take an expert in anything to read a paragraph properly. With all this said, Dream and his fans may have something else to say about the factual accuracy. Who cares? The Unsolved series is not supposed to be a super serious, well-researched video essay. I watched all his Unsolved Season 1 videos, and it seems that Dream often sacrifices accuracy for entertainment. That's not necessarily a bad thing if no damage is being caused because of it. Like, does it matter if PewDiePie's dog, Sven, is not actually invincible like Dream speculates? No. Making up theories like that, even if baseless, doesn't hurt anyone. And in Dream's video making style, he doesn't really provide evidence for his claims, which is also not necessarily a bad thing. He runs on a just trust me sort of system. Like in that video about PewDiePie's dog, Dream said he ran an experiment where a creeper blew up point blank beside his tamed wolf. He didn't show us that experiment, he just told us the results and expected us to believe him. That might fly with Dream's fans, but it never would with the PKC, because anything that is to be discovered, like whether or not certain jumps are possible, is totally reliant on video proof. This difference in expectations of evidence is something that both parties have to understand about each other. Parkourists argue that Dream's 5-block jump video actually is harmful because of the credit it steals for the discoveries made by the PKC, as well as the misinformation it spreads. A lot of Dream's fans now firmly and wrongly believe in the theory of infinite momentum, and a lot of them seem to think that the 5-block jump is easier than it actually is, which I would attribute to Dream's inadequate explanation. To this, some of you fellows may still be asking, who cares? Why does it matter to you if other people are misinformed? The answer, I think, is that for the most part, it doesn't matter. The biggest consequence I see coming out of this is that it is now harder for parkour casuals to get into serious parkour because they'll have to sift through the myths and misinformation that Dream has spread. The PKC feels quite strongly, quite annoyed by this, and maybe that is a little bit irrational, so let's see if I can help everyone to understand why the PKC is upset. Hold on, I have to talk slower, don't I? Oh my god. Okay. A lot of my viewers are into Minecraft PvP, Bed Wars, bridging, that sort of stuff. It's your hobby, it might be your passion. You spend a lot of time playing these games or game modes. Now imagine someone comes along who's not from that community of PvPers or Bed Wars players or whatever. They don't actually play those games or know about those games, yet they start talking about and explaining concepts from those games as if they were knowledgeable. They're doing a pretty poor job of it, but to other people who are also not very educated in those areas, they can't tell the difference, so they think this person's really smart and knowledgeable, when in reality, they barely know anything at all. Wouldn't you find that a little irritating? Like, you and all your friends who actually play these games and you're actually passionate about it, you know way more than this person, this fraud. You'd be so much more deserving of the credit for first understanding and sharing these concepts from these games, but you didn't have a big enough platform to do it. So, big celebrity swoops in, steals your discoveries and your hard work, and presents them as their own, all while mangling and misreporting the real facts. That's what the PKC sees. That's why they're upset. To sum up how they feel, imagine if the largest informational video on YouTube about your favorite hobby was largely incorrect because it was made by someone who wasn't in the scene and didn't even try to contact those in the scene. Now stop imagining. That's the reality of Dream's video and the PKC. I've heard arguments from parkourists that they now need to protect themselves and their discoveries from large YouTubers who want to take advantage of parkour merely as a trend. However, this might leave Dream's fans thinking that the PKC is just a bunch of hypocrites. So what if Dream got some of his facts mixed up? This is the most exposure ever given to the PKC, and you're not even grateful for it. You're getting mad that he doesn't know as much about jumping on blocks as you do. Yes, on the surface, we have these two conflicting desires. 1. The PKC wants exposure. 2. The PKC doesn't want big creators just treating parkour like a trend, making money off the backs of the community's discoveries. If you think about it though, these are not mutually exclusive. The PKC wanted exposure. They wanted the rest of the Minecraft community to know about everything they discovered and how good one can possibly get at parkour. Dream gave them that exposure, but at the same time implicitly took credit for the community's discoveries and got a whole bunch of things wrong in the process. It was the monkey's paw. So I hope you see how some of the PKC's frustrations are justified. I think another big consideration here is that we must remind ourselves that this is the first time a big content creator has covered decently in-depth parkour concepts, stuff that the PKC gets into on a daily basis. It should be expected and forgivable that said big content creator gets a few things wrong. We have to be forgiving of that. Otherwise, for all the other content creators who may have potentially wanted to make collaborative videos with the PKC and their discoveries, they see what happened with Dream and they were like, those guys are crazy, parkour elitists or something. Good luck making a video about them, they're just gonna get pissed at you for every little thing you get wrong. And I don't think the PKC wants to be seen that way. Sure, it shuts down the possibility that more content creators jump on the parkour bandwagon and steal credit for other parkourist discoveries, but it also shuts down the possibility that parkour gets the exposure that you guys want. So I think parkourists do want big content creators to talk about parkour, but they have to do it right and they have to give proper credit to those who deserve it. As for the PKC, what I'm going to say is not a great thing to say to anyone who's very passionate about something, but you guys gotta take it easy. We have to be welcoming and understanding of those who are new to parkour, because they're going to make a lot of mistakes and be totally uneducated about things that we think are obvious. I see some justified anger, I see a lot of irrational anger, and we don't need that. From the outsider's perspective, the PKC might be coming across as being hostile, gatekeeping, and irrationally upset. I'd really prefer that people didn't think that because I don't think it's true, so let's please try not to give them any reason to. Also, please stop looking at the comment section from Dream's video, it's only going to make you more irritated. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are now acting like they know a lot more about parkour when in reality they know less than ever before, but that's beyond Dream. Stupid people are everywhere, this is not something unique or exclusively characteristic of Dream's fans. And finally, just to close out, my last message to Dream, you did good to try and put out some parkour content, and you managed to make it pretty entertaining even when on the surface it's not the most interesting of topics. But it would have been by far the best move to contact Uber or the PKC for help with the research aspects of your video. I hope you can apply this lesson in future videos and think hard about whether something requires more research than you might first think is necessary. And most importantly, in my opinion, don't shy away from giving others credit for their work. No one's gonna blame you for using someone else's content, but they might if you play it off like their contributions didn't really matter. And that's all I have to say. Good night. It's actually like a 30-minute video, sorry.